Yeah, they're the powdery ones. In 100 years from now, Bill, they'll be really the...
Do you have a favorite? Do you have a favorite, Richard?
Hmm?
Do you have a favorite?
No, not really. There is a favorite, you know, the mother. Yeah, this one is wonderful.
Richard, can you recall when you first got involved with photography? What was it about photography that drew you to it?
Oh, well, I don't know. I always wanted to go north. Well, it's a long, long time ago, Bill. I followed the Mountie around on his Arctic Winter Patrol. It was 1948 or 49. And, well, then we did a few more trips. The last one was up to Igloo. I can't really remember, so I'll concentrate on it, really.
How about photography, though, particularly? What drew you to photography? Why the camera?
To see places, I think, to visit other places. The camera's a handy gadget to get around with, and it's one way of making a living, I guess.
So it was very practical at first, when you first got started.
Yeah, I did a bicycle here, I think, a long, long time ago. I photographed, took a bicycle up to the country, took photographs and sold them to the Toronto Star for $3 a photograph. And from then we went on and on.
When you use a camera as a tool, what often goes through your mind when you're looking through the viewfinder? What are you trying to do with the camera?
Get a picture that sells. Get a picture that's saleable, and that's about all. That is your merchandise. That is the thing that you have to offer and hope to get money for it. But after a while you forget all about that. You concentrate on your photographs and you find markets, not so much in Toronto but more in New York, who will take on picture stories, and we paid very well indeed. The old Life magazine and Parade.
What kind of things do you hope people will take away from when they look at your images?
Take away?
What kind of things do you hope will stay with people? What will they take away from looking at your images, do you hope?
You mean from the photograph? Or?
Yes.
I don't know, you get into a philosophical aspect of a photograph is, we had it here happening with uptight people. You look at a photograph, but the photograph also looks at you, and this is quite an important situation. You react to what you see. Oh, it is this, and oh, it is that. But it is a photograph that makes you express yourself in one way or another. So be careful when you look at a photograph of what you see in it, or what the photograph induces. There's a whole philosophy behind it. I can't get into it really very easily or very quickly of what a photograph does to you. You actually in your head supply the caption to the photograph. You supply the meaning to the photograph. The photograph is just a dead little 8x10 print there, black and white, flat, no depth. But it is you who make it come alive. My lips are dry today.
If you were starting photography today, what kind of things would interest you today?
Well, same thing again, faraway places, remote areas, but traveling has changed so much now. People go, at one time travel was romantic, and very few people ever got to Burma or Upper Burma, and to the Antarctic. But now traveling is so much easier, and you can pay your way up to Mount Everest by now. You can get yourself to the South Pole, the North Pole, if you have enough money. You can get yourself up to the space station if you have enough money. So, at one time it felt an achievement to get to the Trobriand Islands to photograph the people there in Papua New Guinea. But now I guess we all become more of the same, more of a melange.
How do you feel about that?
Nothing can stop it, really. I lived in Bora Bora in the South Pacific. I was the only Popa there, the only stranger Popa among Tahitian Polynesians, and we lived happily on the food that we got in the water from the sea. We ate with our hands. But now Bora Bora now is a fashionable tourist place where it costs you $500 US per night to stay. And so the spell, the romance is broken. The Mount Otamanu is still there. The sea still crashes on the reef, but the atmosphere is not there anymore. Not the romantic atmosphere.
So it's interesting because I find, knowing you over the years, part of you is very pragmatic.
Yes.
But there's another part of you that is very romantic.
Mm-hmm.
How do you? Where do you find your heart most of the time? As a romantic or as a pragmatic?
Well, romantic, I think. But aside from having been in the Arctic quite a few times, there's a place in the South Pacific that I liked very well, where I stayed again and again over a period of years, came back to the same people, and found more stories. But I think you could make a living too today as a freelancer, but I had an outlet in New York, Parade magazine. Okay.
Richard, what do you think about the future of photography?
Given
what's happening now with computers and digital photography and things, what do you feel about that?
Oh, I don't feel anything about it. It's so totally changed that photographs, you can see them on television immediately. The moment the thing happens, it is photographed, and you can get it on your screen worldwide. The type of work that we have done in the past is historic now, and it's an approach now to, and nowadays the more gruesome it is, the quicker it will get on television. There was something a few days ago in Israel, a roof house crashing down, and you had it instantly on there. So you cannot compete with that at all. But on the other hand, there are photographers in Canada, I think, in Europe, who turn out lovely stuff in book form, in black and white too.
Do you think things have changed all that much? I'm just thinking, of your own photographs, especially of the people of Padley. I mean, on one hand there is a tremendous beauty to them, but on the other hand there is a gruesome aspect of it in a way for the starvation that people had to.
Oh yes, see, that's the thing. What's the other thing? When the people were here to interview me on Hot Tide, or others have interviewed me, I cannot describe to them what cold means. You might know what it means to be out in the cold, or to go from igloo to igloo. It is, and here, people sitting in a warm room, you cannot convey them the harshness or the directness of life that you experience there. You have your little evenings of the night and somebody around 100 miles or so, and that is quite an experience.
Do you think some people argue today that we're a far less literate society? We're driven in some ways by images.
Oh yes, also.
How do you think that relates to photography? Are people looking for too much instant sort of gratification,
I suppose.
or do you think it lends itself to maybe a greater understanding and appreciation of the image?
No, you just take it in just like one image after another. Television gives you maybe 15, 20, 30 seconds of an item, and it goes on. Roughly now the jump from New Guinea to Israel to Germany or the Antarctic, or getting a man out of the Antarctic. So you get this whole mishmash within 10 minutes, is it, or something like that, of news. And then you go on to do something, or switch channels, or...
When you held the camera in your hands, did you see your role primarily as that of a recorder of history, of a storyteller, or did you see it in a different way?
No, a photographer is a voyeur. A photographer always looks. He's a voyeur. And Cartier-Bresson, he saw this brief and instant moment in Requarter, but his eyes were always looking around for that particular moment. There isn't much to photography really, except you can see the right moment of light and of shadows and of a meaningful situation. And we have gone away from this type of photography because of television reporting anyway.
What would you like, I know it's a bit of a grandiose question, but what would you like your legacy to be in terms of photography and your own work? What would you like people to remember about your work?
Don't forget about it. Maybe look at the book at the Padley book. What does Ted say? He said the Padley book is the Buddhist monks. A Buddhist monk writes down everything he knows, and everything he knows, and then he dies. They roll it up and stick it with him into a cave, and then 1,000 years later on they pick it up again and say, "Oh, isn't that something?" And so that's it. There's no meaning to it really, and people cannot. They only become images, pictures. There's they're detached from the reality totally by then, and you will be totally outdated 50 years from now, and 100 years from now, no one will even remember you. So, but I wish you both well, and your children.